Okay, it's 9:30. You guys ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the Warren County Board of Supervisors meeting. Today's date is Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. It's 9:30 a.m. We're in our boardroom. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The first item on our agenda is the consent agenda.
I would move the consent agenda
We need
items.
to do roll call first.
Oh,
Do we do that? I think we did. Sorry about that. No, that's my fault. Can we get roll call for the meeting, please?
McIntyre.
Here.
Snell.
here.
Peter.
Here. So we do have quorum. Thank you for that reminder. And we'll get back to the consent agenda.
I would move approval of the consent agenda items A through E.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. That motion is approved. Next item on our agenda is to consider the approval of a Class C retail alcohol license.
Claims.
Or yeah, we do have claims. Sorry about that. I'm headed out for vacation here in about 2 hours, so I think I may already be on vacation. So item number 2 are the claims. And I don't have any questions on those.
I would move approval of the claims as submitted to us today.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. The claims are approved. The next item on our agenda is to consider the approval of Class C retail alcohol license for County Line Tap with possible action.
Is the owner here?
Is the owner of County Line Tap here today? Okay.
I would move that we table approval of this until our next meeting.
Did you want them to be available?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we will move that to next meeting's agenda, table it for now.
I would move that we table.
Okay, I'll make a second motion on that. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. Next item on our agenda is a public hearing for road vacation of Carter Street and 195th Avenue. Yeah, we got to make a motion. So I'll make a motion to go into a public hearing.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye, and we're now in a public meeting. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. So Carter Street and 195th are north of Highway 5 east of Carlisle. It accesses one residential property and 2 different farm owners. Right Tree Service bought that residential property and I think worked through the rezoning so they could store their equipment there. The only way they could really do that with I think they went M1 or C1 was to take ownership of the road. And they worked with a consultant firm to get signatures from all the property owners affected and create easements for any of those who needed easements. So they're both dead-end roads. This has been like a 1.5 to 2 year process. Finally got all the signatures we needed, and the final step is just officially vacating the roadways. They're dead-end roads that don't access anything other than farmland, so.
Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak in this matter of vacating Carter Street and 195th Avenue? Any questions from the Board of Supervisors? No questions, Tim. Thank you very much. I'll make a motion to leave public hearing, go back to our regular meeting.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre.
Aye.
Snell.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye. Okay, we're still, so we're back in our regular meeting. Is there any more discussion on the public hearing for Carter Street and 195th?
Can we go ahead and approve this today? I would move approval of the resolution to vacate Carter Street and, is that it? Just Carter?
And 100.
195.
And 185th.
95th. Would you take a friendly amendment to change it to 195th Avenue?
195th, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you. Second?
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Could we please get roll call?
McIntyre,
Aye.
Snell,
Aye.
Heater,
Aye. The motion is approved. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing regarding the sale of county-owned property known as vacated Washington Street in Churchville with the legal description as listed in your packet.
Second? I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
I'll second that. Roll call?
McIntyre,
Really fast, I'm sorry.
Oh, what time is it? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, we have 5 more minutes until we can actually open up that public hearing. Thank you,
Go
Dawn.
to any of the other items down below.
Okay, let's go to item number 6. Consider the approval of ARPA-funded projects with possible action.
Who has this one?
I don't know who put this one on, Michaela.
So there's actually two. It's the remainder for the window in the assessor's office and the COT systems for zoning.
Okay, we have talked about both these items in our work sessions. I don't know if I kind of summarize in zoning, they would like to hire COT systems to do some of the scanning of the documents into the system, correct? And that was not anticipated. That was something we thought we were going to do, but we realized that it's a lot of labor, and that we'll be further ahead by having them do it, and we'll have this project done a lot quicker. So that was the ask from zoning. And then the cost on the glass that we're putting in the assessor's office, because it took us more than 30 days to kind of get an answer back to them, their quote had changed slightly by the time that the decision was made. So they're requesting an additional $1,985 to be added for that. So those are the two issues. I have no questions about those. I plan to try to approve, but by all means, if there are more questions.
Are we going to vote on these separately, or are we doing them as one?
Dawn?
I think separate.
Separately.
Okay. I really don't have any questions about the assessor's office request. I just have a couple of questions on the zoning, or on the records issue, excuse me, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I think I understand where we are, but I would move approval of the added ARPA funds to be allocated to the request by the assessor's office for the additional expense on the glass replacement. And that would be in the amount of $1,985 additional ARPA funds to be taken from the building renovation, the ARPA, from our administration building ARPA fund.
Okay.
Do we need to do that, or will there be left
We do,
over
because we've already approved
all the others?
moving all that money away from, and so I don't think there's any money left other than the building administration fund.
Okay.
We'd have to take it from that, I believe.
I'm wondering if there's any other outstanding projects that might come in under,
That's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah.
possibility.
So you want to go ahead and make that adjustment now, or just kind of wait to the final accounting of it? I just hate to move that money too many times. I mean, I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of go back to our other folks, you know, and things as far as the ARPA funds and how we put them in very specific pots.
Yes.
And so, in fact, that's part of the next question I'm going to ask is which pot are we taking the zoning money out of? Because we had talked about one thing, and then other things have come up in the interim period, so.
On the zoning issue, I'll just add some comments, Megan, and then we'll need your help for sure. But like on the zoning originally, we had allocated several, like $300,000 for the
Correct.
land use planning project, and they've only, incurred maybe $150,000 worth of expense. So on the zoning, I think there's room in the money that they've already allocated. And then,
And that's one reason why I think on this one, we probably need to be very specific about where the money's come from, don't we?
So we could either just take it, because I mean, it is an improvement to the building, so we could not do another ARPA improvement, and I could just pay the excess from kind of that line for ARPA.
Okay.
Or we have the building improvement funds, but I'm thinking you want to pay it from ARPA. So in that case, then I don't think we'd actually need to do another ARPA approval. I would just categorize it as a building improvement and then pay it from that line item out of the ARPA funds.
So we really don't need to take action then on this, do we?
No, I mean, you could approve to
we
pay it
should.
as a building improvement, as part of the building improvements.
I think
Through
that-
ARPA?
Yeah, just so that we have a firm accounting of all of those dollars, just to make sure that we've, passed, to show clearly the path in which every dollar was spent.
Yeah.
So,
and I
yeah,
think the approval of every dollar that's spent through ARPA should be approved by the Board of Supervisors.
absolutely.
And these are additional dollars. So from that perspective, I think it's important to vote on spending this additional money and using ARPA dollars to do it. Wrong?
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Somebody want to make
All right.
a motion?
Allocated. This is one where I don't know that we need to necessarily act, because they've been allocated enough money to cover
Yeah,
this
they're
expense.
already allocated. That's why I was asking the question,
But do we need approval to,
You have 300,000 approved for the land use plan, but we don't have any funds actually approved
For
for the
cut.
scanning. And it's closer to 60,000. 59,065.
Yeah.
Well, if we need a formal motion to allocate those funds from what has already been provided to zoning.
And that was kind of the concern that Lindsay brought, was taking the funds from the land use plan in case there are more expenses for that. So yes, that,
But with
it would be
So-
whether you're designating it from those ARPA funds that have already been allocated, or if you're designating additional ARPA dollars for,
Right, and
the scanning.
we had talked about it, the land use plan possibly needing that entire 300.
No, I just don't know where we'll end up, because like the solar ordinance will be separate, the wind ordinance, so I just want to make sure.
That we
at the
understand we may be adding
Well,
to the
and
end.
at the end, that we have enough to cover all the ordinances that weren't in the
Okay,
original plan, I guess.
okay.
But I know we talked at the last meeting that the funds are there in that account now to use. And so do
I
we
mean-
take the gamble to?
ultimately, you're not asking for an additional $59,000 to be added to the ARPA allocation. You're just making sure the Board of Supervisors is aware that your costs are going up $60,000. In my mind, there's plenty of room in between what you've spent and what you've been allocated. So I don't feel necessarily comfortable adding to the previous allocation, because I think you're going to have plenty of money to finish up what you need to finish up. That's just my opinion. I haven't heard anything that would lead me to believe that there's going to be a
We're at,
big
like,
expense.
135, so.
Yeah, you're at 135, you got 165 left. You're asking to use 59,000 of the 165. So you still have $100,000
That was why
allocated to
I
you.
filled this request out, because that's to use that money that was already allocated. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep.
And by the way, you're doing a great job on that project. Like, I think it's important that, the public and the rest, and the people here at the county realize the magnitude of what you're doing at zoning, and, how diligently you and your team have been going about, dotting your i's, crossing your t's. This is a, brand-new zoning system that we're trying to implement, and I see nothing but good things from it, and I appreciate what you're doing. So I just, side note, you know, nothing to do with this money, but thank you for everything zoning's doing right now.
Yeah, I would concur as well as what you just said. Shouldn't be viewed that we're cutting back necessarily on anything that you're doing, but let's use the money that's already been allocated first. And then if we would happen to, here's my feeling, I'm just going to share this from my perspective. I think that if we would happen to have some additional costs related to the zoning, we'll deal with that at that time.
Very good.
But I think right now, we've got plenty of funds, it would appear, allocated to take care of the COTS project, plus also take care of the additional ordinance issues that you might have coming up, so.
Dawn, do we need a resolution to increase the 50? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to leave the $300,000 allocation the same, but to approve $59,065 for additional expense within your allocation for additional document scanning and records management. So that's my motion.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye. So that is approved. Let's head back to the public hearing that we kind of skipped over due to a timing issue. So we'll go back to item number 5.
I'll make a motion to go into public hearing regarding the sale of county-owned property known as vacated Washington Street in Churchville.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye. Okay, we're now in public hearing. Hi, Dawn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here today to talk about vacated Washington Street within Churchville. This street was vacated many, many years ago. That property has never been conveyed to anyone. The McElravys contacted me about that property, and there's also another person who owns property on the west side of that county-owned property, and that's Dakota Lester. I've spoken with both of the parties. My suggestion is that the board sell that property to the two property owners on either side of it, that I've got legal descriptions that I will read. I also have a proposed resolution. This matter has been published by notice in the 3 newspapers in the county. I have had no contact from anybody regarding this except for the 2 property owners on either side.
Okay. So do you want me to read the legal, do you want to read the legal?
I can do that, but you will, if you're ready to make a decision, you will need to go out of the public hearing. You might ask if there's anybody that has anything they'd like to say.
Sounds good. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Okay, I'll make a motion to leave public hearing.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye. Okay, we're back in our regular meeting.
I can read my proposed prepared resolution.
I can,
That would be very nice.
yeah, if you want to read it, that'd be excellent.
Be it resolved that the Warren County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the sale of county-owned property legally described as follows. That part of vacated Washington Street running north and south and lying between lots 1 and 8 of Block 4 and lots 4 and 5 of Block 5, except the south 104 feet of the west half of said vacated Washington Street, Churchville, OTP, in Section 8, Township 76, Range 25 west of the 5th PM in Warren County, Iowa, to David and Diane McElravy of 2905 South Street, Norwalk, Iowa, 50211, and the south 104 feet of the west half of vacated Washington Street between Blocks 4 and 5, Churchville, OTP, in Section 8, Township 76, Range 25, west of the 5th Prime Meridian, in Warren County, Iowa, to Dakota Lester, 2879 South Street, Norwalk, Iowa. Said real estate will be conveyed by quitclaim deed.
I would move the resolution as read.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye. That motion is approved. Thank you very much, Dawn.
Thank you, and I will prepare the quitclaim deeds for your
Okay.
signature.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're to item number 7, to consider the approval of fuel quotes and approve contract with James Oil Company with possible action.
This is our annual countywide fuel contract that our office takes care of. This is to deliver fuel to our main fuel station and all of our outlying locations. This is just the vendor's quote, the vendor margin, the price to deliver per gallon to our areas. We still pay the rack price depending on, the fuel prices. We only got one bidder this year, and it was James Oil Company in the amount of $993.00. And it is in line with, it's actually a little cheaper than it was last year, so even though we only got one bidder, it's in line with quotes of the past and actually a little better, so.
Thank you. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the fuel quotes from James Oil Company.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Heater?
Aye. It's approved. Thank you, Tim.
Yep, I got the next two as well.
Next item, number 8, is to consider the approval to purchase permanent easement in the amount of $1,050 for project number LMP 2023-91, Parent 2, between Warren County and Ivan Archer with possible action.
This and the next one are related to a bridge replacement project we're doing on 173rd, just south of Ackworth. We're tearing out the existing 3-ton structure and replacing it with twin metal pipes. And we needed to acquire a tad bit more right of way in order to fit the pipes in and do the job right. So
Okay.
both this one and the next one are for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase easement in the amount of $1,050 for project number LMP 2023-91, Parent 2, between Warren County and Ivan Archer with possible. That's my motion.
Yep. Second?
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Heater?
Aye. Any questions on the second one at all? Gary and Dixie Rubel? Okay, I'll make a motion to consider the approval, or I'll make a motion to approve the purchase permanent easement in the amount of $1,050 for the project number LMP 2023-91, Parent 2, between Warren County and Gary L. Rubel and Dixie L. Rubel with possible act. That's my motion.
Second.
Possible action.
She seconded it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, sorry, second.
Okay, roll call.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Heater?
Aye, motion is approved. Okay, next item on our agenda is to consider the application to use the Warren County Annex for Home for the Holidays event on Saturday, December 9th, 2023.
This is the one where they would use it for restroom facilities and stuff like
Well,
that?
did you want to speak about, is there someone here to speak about this? Yeah, okay. Good morning.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
good morning.
We have our Home for the Holidays event on Saturday, and we're trying to avoid parents wrestling kids out of snowsuits in Kaibos. So we're asking for access to primarily to the restrooms in the annex. We have also asked the city as well for their Regions Bank bathrooms.
Okay.
Great. So you cover both sides of the square?
I'm sorry?
So you cover both sides of the square?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, unless you have more questions, I'm ready to vote.
Yeah, I don't foresee any
I
issues
haven't-
with this
no, let's go
Okay.
ahead.
at all.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the application for Warren County Annex to be used for Home for the Holidays event on Saturday, December 9th, 2023.
Second.
Roll call?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Heater?
Aye. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hope to
Appreciate
see you
it.
there.
All right, thank you.
Leslie?
It's a great event. Okay, next item on the agenda is a treasurer's discussion with possible action.
There's
I don't really, I mean, yeah. I mean,
So are we
You wanna
going to
make the-
talk through what we're going to do? Is that what it amounts to?
yeah, I think so.
Okay. I would suggest we just use the same format that we did before when the other office came open earlier this year. That's in accordance with Iowa law, and we fulfill our duties as supervisors in that process where we would appoint someone to take that position. I would suggest that we put notice out today, assuming we would approve the process, and make the applications for those that are interested in being considered be due, I believe it is on the 19th. Oh, excuse me, that's the date that we'd actually, let me go back and look at my calendar a little
15
bit.
days maybe from today.
Yeah, because we had talked about the days. The 15th would be the day that, by the close of business, that applications would be due, and then we could consider the appointment with potential public conversation with the applicants on the 19th. That's what the 19th was. That would be my suggestion, that we just
Okay.
follow that process.
All right.
And I believe Dawn had indicated that we felt everything was in accordance with timelines and publication deadlines and things, so that process does work, I believe.
Yes.
So that would be my suggestion, that we do
Okay.
that.
Is that a motion?
I would move that, all those dates.
All right.
So I would move that we publish today a request for applicants to be considered for the treasurers, to fill the treasurer
Right.
position. And those are due to us by the close of business on December 15th, with then a decision, potential decision made at our board meeting on the 19th.
Can I make a point of clarification that the application that we're seeking is not the employment application?
Correct.
It is for our boards and commissions. It's a very simplified application, easy to fill out.
I would suggest, maybe I should add this to the motion, that resume be attached to that simple application to be considered.
And I will second, and I just want to comment that our Assistant County Attorney found out that we can actually put this on a ballot for the public, but out of respect for our budget, we are bypassing that. But of course, always a petition is, if that's something that the public feels that they need to put this on the ballot, we know as a budget-conscious Board of Supervisors that that's not the direction that we would like to go down.
Dawn, just to clarify one thing, I believe in our conversations that we had before, that this would actually only be filling the position until the election next fall, which then the person that would be on the ballot would fill out the remainder of the term for the position. Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure everybody understands that. So we're only filling the position until next fall.
Right.
That would be my motion.
Okay, second. I think we already did that.
Yeah, and just my comments on this is we encourage anybody that has any interest in Warren County and the Treasurer's Office, we would urge anybody and all people to apply. We want as many candidates as we can to consider. And I agree with Supervisor McIntyre. Basically, what's going on is the Board of Supervisors has a decision to make. We can appoint a treasurer, and this particular Board of Supervisors is saying, we're opening up the pool of candidates to anybody and everybody that wishes to be considered for this position. And we are taking the option to appoint as opposed to have a special election. So that's an option too. We could open this, we could just say we're going to have a special election. There's a lot of cost, there's a lot of work involved in that process. So based on that, the board, the decision we're making today is we're going to appoint and we're going to open up the candidacy to anybody and everybody. So we have a motion and we have a second. Can we get roll call, please?
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye. So that is approved. I'll make a motion to receive and file the reports from Veterans Affairs and the 2023 Weed Commissioner Report.
I will
You have questions?
second the motion.
Okay.
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, I made a
Sorry,
motion to
okay.
approve item number 12.
Okay, I will second the motion to receive and file reports.
Okay, roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Supervisors Report. As you've seen today, we're in the process of replacing the treasurer. It's begun officially today. We've had several meetings trying to determine the best path, the most transparent path forward on that. The auditorium design, the schematic design, it's just basically a pretty simple design, layout drawing of what a potential auditorium remodel would look like. That is now completed, and we're very close to getting the cost on that, so we'll be reporting out to the Board of Supervisors in our next meeting about that. The engineer's maintenance facility, the new building that the county is building, is still on path to be completed in August of 2024. There's been some meetings around that schedule. And I just had a meeting a couple days ago with our Facilities Committee meeting last Wednesday, and our Mayor of Indianola and the City Manager of Indianola were there, and we had a nice meeting regarding just city and county facilities and common interests. So that pretty much wraps up my report.
Awesome. Well, I'll go next. All right, we had a budget amendment work session and a regular work session. We canvassed the election, which was a special, and we had another one to approve the GAP annual report. Then I attended our safety committee meeting, and I, just for the public as well as our employees here, slips, trips, and falls, for this is the season thereof. So please be aware of that. We also I met with two who have expressed interest in being our next treasurer. Attended the Milo City Council, where their mayor, one incumbent city council, and one newly elected city council member were sworn in. And I gave a report of what's happening in the county. And then just to inform the Board of Supervisors of the EMS project, I will be meeting with the fire chiefs on Thursday to discuss getting a committee together and coming up with a timeline, which I would like to present with the committee by January, February timeframe. The makeup of the committee will be 2 fire rescue, 1 rural rep, which could come from council, mayor, or trustee, and then 1 major city rep from that same group. And then together we can move county EMS for Warren County forward.
Wow.
That's my hope. Yeah.
Good work.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens.
I understand.
Tell me that in January, February.
Let's commit to saying it's going to go good and we're going to
Oh,
get something
it will,
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of research to do, though.
Yeah, it's a big move. It's a
Yeah.
big step. The one other thing I wanted to comment on, one of my most important things, sorry Supervisor Snell, but I got one more. Safety is becoming a bigger priority for the county each and every day. So just this month, we've developed a new safety committee that is being led and directed by Supervisor McIntyre primarily, but also our recorder, Jordan Hill. And they had their first meeting this month. And this is about making sure that our people feel safe, but making sure that our facilities and our county is a safe place to be, and it's a safe place for our public to be. And we feel like there's a lot of room for improvement in safety. And so it's incumbent on this committee to bring policies forward and initiatives forward to increase safety within the county. And we'll see how that goes as well. But I'm pretty encouraged by the work that was done in that meeting, and I look forward their next move is to have a meeting with the Facilities Committee. That's what they're requesting to do. So that'll be in coordination here in a couple weeks, and we'll go from there. But I wanted the public to be aware of what we're working on relative to safety. And that's all I got.
Well, I don't know that we can keep up with Secretary Mack.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Welcome to my world. I've been dealing with it for 3 years.
There's plenty of work to go around. You know, people have been asking me quite a bit about what's going to be happening off in the future. And just to remind everybody, a year from now, we'll be having
That's right.
new folks elected to 5 positions here instead of just the 3 of us. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be a good thing.
Yep.
And as part of that, this last week, we had a special, actually it was a county-wide legislative luncheon with our state representatives. And it also included representatives of the federal delegation as well up in Norwalk. It was put on by the chambers throughout the county. And it was a very interesting conversation. One of the things that, you know, we've talked about before here at this board table is House File 718 and the impact that it's going to have on us as we start this budgeting process. And naturally, we brought that up at the meeting. And so I think the state legislators are aware that there are some shortcomings in the legislation in how it ties the hands of counties like ours. We're one of about a half dozen counties in the state that are on a growth pattern that exceeds the 6% that they're talking about. And as a result, it limits our ability to actually budget accordingly for a growing active population. And I think the legislators heard what we were saying, and they said, well, everything's not perfect when you go through the legislature. You know, so you hear that story over and over and over again, and we had to do the best we could, and please let us know how we can improve it. So I think that behooves us. I just share that with you so that you can know that if you have a chance to talk with our state representatives and help them to understand the impact that it's going to have on us and how it does tie our hands, not only for the county, but also our growing cities within the county, that would be very helpful. And I think they would appreciate that because that'll help them as they go forward into the legislative session to maybe make some adjustments that instead of hampering our development, can facilitate our development here and use of funds accordingly. So that was probably the biggest thing. Of course, we had a couple of other meetings that were very significant this last week and things, but as far as this, and then we had the tree lighting up in Norwalk as well. So out there with Mayor Phillips and others lighting the tree, and Santa came and did his thing too. So
It does feel like we're getting in the Christmas spirit a little bit.
Yeah.
We are.
I love that feeling.
Very much.
I love it.
Yep.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, I should just say one other thing. We had talked, I've been mentioning this about the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. They are in a search process right now. And just to make you aware, the search committee has actually come together now, and they are actually on a timeline where it looks like we should be complete with the outside facilitating group that's going to be helping with that by April. So hopefully that'll help out. And I believe I'd mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, there's the MPO boundaries will probably be expanding more into Warren County than what they had been before. And so I think you're aware of that, but that means that potentially there's additional resources available for transportation planning and development, especially in the northern part of the county.
Yes.
And that would be
Needed.
all across the northern part of the county.
Thank you. Needed.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is a public input. Comments will be limited to a few minutes. The board will not take any on any action on the comments due to the requirements of the open meeting law, but may do so in the future. No public input will be allowed for any of today's agenda items. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak?
You came to the treasurer's discussion.
We've already discussed it.
Apparently, very early, you're very far ahead of schedule today.
Yeah. This would be the time if you have something you want to say.
No, I don't. I wanted to hear what you were going to talk about.
Oh.
Treasurer's discussion.
Yeah, we've already decided the process. It's what we had discussed the other day in
In the
the.
work session?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing
So
changed.
the applications will be due by the 15th, and then we'll make a decision on the 19th.
Okay, are you going to publish it?
Yes, today.
Okay. And that will go out to
Today.
today, okay.
Notice will go out today. It will not be published until next
Right.
week.
Okay, but the notice will go out today.
Okay, that's what we wanted to know. Thank you.
I do have a question about that process. Once we have all the applicants, do we want to put their applications out online, like for the public to review them as well? I mean, I know we didn't do that last time, but, you know, this is a public office, so I don't know. I think that came up in
Would
speaking
there be
with.
any, like, I'd just be concerned about privacy things or, like,
It's
what, Dawn, do you have any issues with that?
If you want to do that, I would ask that you put that on your application, so people know
Okay.
that that's what's going to happen.
Okay, it's part of public record. Well, that's what those board,
It'll be part of public record.
yeah, I mean, those,
Obviously, no.
okay, all right.
Andrew,
Okay.
what would you think about your resume and your application going, like, out, like, available on our website, or just curious what an applicant would think about that?
I mean, like my background, I wouldn't mind, but like personal information, like my resume has my address, phone number, email.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I think that's, that would be my, I think my concern if I
Okay.
was, do I want I mean, I don't mind talking about my career and my jobs
Right.
and my experience and
But don't put that
type of thing,
personal.
but my personal information, I don't know. I think that's something to think about.
Yeah. I wonder if we could change up the application to where we don't have to put address and that personal information, just the qualifications. Is that something, Michaela, that you could do real quick? Just take off, based on that application that we have out there already, that generic one for the boards and commissions. If you could, like, take off
Redact.
all of the, yeah, just take off all of the, like, personal, just name and no other address and things like that. I don't think we would even need that.
But if a member of the public would like more information, they're free to, you know.
Couple things, if you really think you need to publish it, which I don't think you do, but if
Okay.
you do, you could do their resume instead of the Warren County application. That's what has personal information on it, and
Okay.
resumes typically don't. Also, I feel like if people really are interested in the process, they would come to your meeting, whatever you're going to have.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
have a tendency to agree.
Yeah. And I was just throwing it out there because I feel like the public has a right to know who we're,
Yeah.
you know, since last time we were accused of choosing somebody we already knew. I mean, I knew them, but I didn't know they were going to apply for this, but
Right.
just to try to keep it fair
Yeah,
for
keep
the
it
public.
fair. That's the main thing. That's a good idea, so.
So are you suggesting that we actually do make it published somehow?
Well, I think as I continue to think about the process, in our packet for our meeting, we will have their information in it. So anyone who receives that packet or requests it from wanting to see,
Well, that's true.
the public has access to these things, but us putting it out there, I guess, would be redundant and not absolutely necessary. So I just, yeah,
I understand what you're trying to do. And
Yeah.
we're just trying to be very transparent.
exactly. I don't want to be accused of something that I don't do. Yeah,
Know what we're doing, what we're
Okay.
considering.
okay.
Good questions, good discussion. Okay. Next meeting date is December 19th, 2023, at 9:30 a.m. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn this. Okay, we have a motion and a second on adjournment. Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Snell?
Aye.
Heater?
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending.